You seen the thumbnail, you know what I'm making. I'm getting ready to show you guys how to make a baked ziti. Now, come on in here and take a look at this right here. Look, these are my ingredients, and I'm gonna go ahead. I've already started, heating up my, I use a wok. You guys can use a regular, pan or whatever. But for me, I just put a little heat in this, and I'm gonna start. I'm not gonna put no oil or nothing like that, because look, this is that sweet, that sweet sausage, right? So it's gonna have enough. If I can get it out, we'll just put that in there. It'll come up to temp. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna start browning that. Now, if you guys pay attention right here, I went ahead and preheated my oven to 350 degrees, right? It's working right now because I got some baguettes. I'm gonna make some type of, bread to go with it. I know everybody uses like a garlic bread, but I'm gonna do something a little different. We're gonna go with baguettes. Now, you guys see, what I'm doing is I'm just breaking it up because I want to get maximum exposure on the bottom of the, the wok, right? Again, I'm using a wok, not a pan, but you guys do it however you want to. So you see it starting to brown up. This is cool, you know what I mean? We're gonna cook it down just a little bit further, right? But now, as this is going, I'm gonna add a little olive oil. Now, this is my infused olive oil made by Branch and Vine. You know what I mean? I'm gonna keep with that whole little Italian, Italian theme with it. Now I'm gonna take my press. I'm getting ready to load it up. Now I'm gonna just go ahead and give it a, press. Look at that, folks. Minced garlic. We'll just get this in here, let it get some of that heat on it, and start marrying its flavors along, right? Now I'm gonna go ahead and use my little press here to make it just a little bit smaller. So now, I kind of like dice them down a certain size. I'm just making them just a little smaller. All right, so look, now we get ready to go ahead, and get our pasta together, right? Check it out. Ziti noodles, water's already hot. We just add it. Let me go ahead and reach across, grab myself a, wooden spoon. Then what we do is we just move this across like this. I'm gonna add a pinch of salt. We're gonna let these and cook these to the instructions that's on the box. We want these to be al dente. All right, so I want you guys to come in and take a look. I know I did it a little backwards this time, because a lot of people see me do onions first. Then the last thing I add is my garlic, right? But I really want this to be real garlicky. You know what I mean, to have that without adding all of the different seasoning. You know what I mean? So having minced garlic works just fine, right? So now I want you guys to pay attention. Look right here. All of this, what I set aside right now, this is always getting ready to go in there, right? So I got it all right here. And don't forget, the full ingredient list will be down in the description box below. Now, all you got to do is start adding everything now. Now that my tomatoes was in, now I'll come with my sauce. Listen, there is no order. I don't want to fake like it is or nothing like that. You just want to add them. Everything that I showed you that was left, you just want to add it, right? I'm gonna go ahead and set my heat down here to a medium, because we want to get this back to, boiling, so everything can start getting warm and start marinating itself, right? Marrying itself to each other. We add our water, our seasoning. Okay, so you see that right there? See, that's what I'm looking for, right? Now we're gonna add our bay leaves. Right, I'm just gonna push them down like that and let them do their thing. Oh yeah. Next thing we do, we wanna put a lid over the top, right? I'll put it over this way, because you can see where it'll vent. I'm gonna adjust this so that it'll stay at like a cool little simmer. We're gonna let this go for 30 minutes. Okay, so everything is coming right around, to the witching hour, right? So listen, get myself some spray, non-stick spray, right? Go ahead and just spray this. You don't want anything to stick, right? Trust me, folks, make your life a whole lot easier. All right, so now that we have that sprayed, let me go ahead, take this off right here, put this down. Now I'm just gonna give this a nice little stir. Loving what I'm seeing, right, folks? But listen, I'm gonna go ahead and take out, my bay leaves, right? Don't forget, we put 3 in there. We want to get 3 out. It's not the end of the world if you don't, you know what I mean? You just want it to release its flavors. Now, what you want to do is, you want to go ahead and just start, introducing your ziti, right? Now this was 1 pound, so all of this got to go in there. Now you guys kind of like figuring out why I used a wok, right? I just like the fact that when you use a wok, with the high sides, it makes it just a little bit more easier. If you guys use a pan, make sure you got enough room, for all your meat and all of your, your ziti pasta. Now we're still under a medium, like a medium low, flame, right? You want to get it nice and hot, because when we started introducing, our cheese, you want to make sure that it melts properly And if I hadn't said already, listen, we want to save a little bit of that pasta water. That's the secret to getting everything to be creamy, folks. So now look, this is what I do. This is fresh mozzarella, right? So I just take a little bit and just put some in here like that. Listen, it's gonna be, as you can see, it's just the way it breaks up, and when you put it in there like that, it'd be like gummy, right? So I just go ahead and take my spoon and just do it like this. You know, it helps it when it melts. You don't want to make them too big, but we got that heat, right? So just keep adding this like this. And then we're gonna start giving it a stir, start mixing this in. Then we're finna come with a little bit of that parm. Matter of fact, I'm finna put a little bit of that parm in here with it. Now I'm gonna go ahead and just sprinkle a little bit of this parm in here, just like that, not all of it. Right? And then we just finna work this in, back and forth, and we're finna let that heat do its thing. I just really wanna get it underneath, you know? Once we got it underneath, you see that steam coming off? Don't forget, we still got a fire underneath it. We're just gonna keep moving it, you know, back and forth. Once I see it's down like that, see how it kind of like disappeared? We're gonna let that heat just go ahead and melt. Now we're gonna go ahead and finish up the rest. Just start adding that. Remember, fresh parm. If you don't have it, you know what I mean, using that, you know, if you can get some and just pre-shred it yourself, that'll be second best. Third bit would be, you know, that means you just had to like buy some already shredded. But I can tell you, when you buy it already shredded, that waxy film with it, that's a lot for me. So we just add just something like this and we'll leave it. And I'm gonna show you what I saved, you know, from it. I saved this much right here, right? Because we're gonna do something with it, you know, at the end. I might put a little bit on top just to see how, you know, to put the topping on it, because that's how we know baked ziti. That's with that topping. It's nice and cheesy. Now you see how it is when you put those balls in there. You see what I mean? When you just break them up like that, it just helps with the melting process. But you see it right there? That's what we want, folks. You see that? Now we making ziti. Don't forget, we saved a little bit of that pasta water, so if it get too thick on us, what we do, we just add a little bit to it, and this is what keeps it creamy. So you can see that I just added the last little bit. I like to put it in increments, you know what I mean? That way I can find out, you know, if I got too much or how is it working and all of that. But this is it. Problem is, you just gotta make sure you keep moving it around. Not really a problem, but you just wanna make sure it's all got cheese on it. You can see it's nice and cheesy in the beginning. I mean, in the center, look at that right there. Right, so I'd like to bring some of that over here, bring some of them noodles, and just keep moving it, you know, back and forth. So now I'm gonna turn this off, right? Now, you guys see I got my pepper and my salt. This is when I taste it to see if it needs a little bit of anything. I make my adjustment. I can just tell you now, this was just right for my palate. You guys taste and find out what's good for you. You remember this? Remember we greased it? That was key. Why? Because I'm getting ready to take this, right? I'm gonna add this in here because I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna take it, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna pour it in just like that. Tell me that don't look good, folks. But I got a little pro tip for everybody right now too, especially when you're working with cheese and you put something in here like this. You know we want to go ahead and put a top on it, right? So in this case, we're gonna be using aluminum foil. Now I'm gonna show you what I do to aluminum foil. Okay, so remember I talked about the pro tip? This is aluminum. For those of you guys that don't know, the shiny side goes up, this the pretty side. The dull side goes wherever the food is, right? And seeing how we gonna put some cheese on the top of that, we're gonna go ahead and spray this right now with just a little bit of this non-stick, because we don't want our cheese to stick to this, right? Trust me, folks, after we did all of this hard work, when we open it up, we wanna see it, right? So now, you remember this? This is gonna be nice right here, folks. We just wanna put it on here. We don't need no whole lot. You know what I mean? We just wanna put some on here like this. And that right there should do it. You put a whole lot on top of here, it won't get a chance to sink down, and you won't get what you guys are looking for, you know, when it's done, right? Because we all like to take them pictures, right? So remember, spray side down. Let's get it over here like this. Remember, we at 350 degrees.